The UK to filter porn, Patriot Act amendments proposed. The NSA claims it's as unorganized as the DMV, and over 3 billion vulnerable devices run Java, including your phone's vulnerable SIM card. All that and more, this time on ThreatWire.
Hello, welcome to ThreatWire. I'm Darren Kitchen.
And I'm Shannon Morris.
And this is your summary of what's threatening security, privacy, and internet freedom.
Let's get right into it.
All right, let's start with this week. About 100 amendments are going to be heard by the House on topics such as Egypt, Syria, and 2 of them address the wholesale collection of domestic phone call metadata. Now, that data, which carriers provide to the NSA, includes the phone number of both parties, the IMSI of the cell phone, calling card numbers, and the duration of the call. It's become public knowledge that carriers such as Verizon willingly provide this information as part of the Patriot Act. That is, of course, the acronym for Uniting and Strengthening America by Providing Appropriate Tools Required to Intercept and Obstruct Terrorism Act of 2001, which was passed a few weeks after September 11th attacks and allows the NSA to collect data under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. Woohoo! Now, the latest proposals attempt to alter Section 215 of the Act, which grant authorization for broad warrants for any tangible record, including those from banks, doctors, and phone companies. The amendment would see that this is only being authorized against targets who are, quote, the subject of an investigation. Over the years, several similar amendments have actually been proposed without success. In fact, in 2011, before being set to expire, the Patriot Act was extended again to June 1st, 2015. You can find more information on taking action and contacting your representatives over at defundthensa.com.
That's an awesome website. Now, by the end of 2013, UK ISPs will have to offer filters to block pornographic content. Content will be blocked unless the user decides to intervene or specifically ask for it to be unfiltered. Now, in the UK, standard filtering across the country is a major effort by the government, and some companies like TalkTalk have already put this filtering in place. Claire Perry, a special advisor on prevention of sexualization and commercialization of childhood, said many parents were complacent with the risks associated with online pornography. However, tech-savvy young adults may not have a problem getting around the parental filters. Peer-to-peer image sharing sites like Imager and Reddit and self-made adult content will not be affected, obviously. An e-petition has been created to reinforce good parenting and not the power of the government to force filters. One problem with filtering is the content may be objectionable and not truly adult content. The ISP will possibly have the power to block whatever they deem as pornographic. Now, legislation would need to be extremely precise if the government does implement the ISP filtering. If it's too simplistic, the filtering could be deemed unhelpful and it could breach the freedom on pretty much all its users.
Well, this happened in Australia. All right, now last week, in response to our discussion on privacy, we received this comment. No, it's not the comment of the week. Actually, it's the response to it that is, so let me just set this up. None of your business, YT on YouTube wrote. You want to help me out with this?
Whatever. Now, oh my God, all these babies crying, wham, my privacies. Now I can't do illegal stuff. Now I wouldn't care if the government took my data. Want to know why? I've done and doing nothing wrong. Just like if I had a boyfriend that went through my phone, sure, it would create trust issues, but a government does not equal a relationship. And with millions of people in one country, they can't trust everyone, especially with terrorism becoming more prominent. I prefer to be alive over having full privacy rights.
You know, everyone is entitled to their opinion, and that was fantastic. So thank you for chiming in, and thank you for helping me out with that comment, Becky.
Whatever.
James Spencer on Google Plus actually responded quite eloquently with, quote, "There can be no freedom without privacy and the choice to commit wrongdoings. Every freedom fighter and hero in history was a criminal in the eyes of the government, from Gandhi to Rosa Parks. All committed crimes to effect change. The choice to risk prosecution for the greater good of our brethren is what our American freedoms are built on." Right on, brother.
Now remember, you can find all the ways to subscribe at threatwire.org and get involved with our Google Plus community for continued discussion on stories like this one. The National Security Agency claims that although they have the ability to listen in on phone activities and monitor internet data of millions of Americans, they cannot search through NSA employees' personal email accounts. NSA Freedom of Information Act officer Cindy Blacker said there is no central method to search an email at this time with the way that our records are set up, unfortunately, because the current system is a little antiquated and archaic. Now, this quote came after a request sent by Justin Elliott, who wanted to reveal the relationship between the the NSA and the National Geographic Channel, which aired a documentary about the NSA that some thought was sympathetic to the agency. Now, of course, the NSA continues to receive requests from several parties about all this collected information.
Oh yeah, you can't look back here. We don't have the data. Sorry. Now, in the wake of the PRISM surveillance awakening, CNET is reporting that Google is experimenting with encryption for Google Drive files. Now, this could potentially inhibit governments from gaining access to a user's stored files, even if the NSA under FISA or law enforcement under a warrant were legally permitted to view a customer's Drive files. You see, Google would be unable to satisfy this request. Seth Schoen of the Electronic Frontier Foundation said mechanisms like this could give people more confidence and allow them to start backing up potentially their whole device. Now, I'm personally not convinced that any corporate cloud service should out all of my own data, encrypted or otherwise, but I will give credit where credit is due, as Google was the first major provider to implement two-factor authentication, as well as perfect forward secrecy in HTTPS. Now, users of any cloud service right now can protect their data just by using encrypted volumes, such as TrueCrypt on Dropbox, for example, or what you did on Hack5 recently with ENCFS on Ubuntu One.
However you say it. Now, our last story is about SIM cards. SIM cards, a popular industry norm for cell phone carriers, may be susceptible to a hack, allowing clones of encrypted credentials that secure payment data and identify your handset. This vulnerability can be exploited with a message sent to the target. The message would include instructions for an over-the-air update, which is normal for a phone from the carrier, and the target would return an error code. The attacker can then use this response to find the encryption key. Now, by decrypting this key, which doesn't take long, the attacker can then send a valid over-the-air command to the phone to install a Java app to extract even more data. Ugh. That's kind of scary.
Wow, yeah, just millions of devices are vulnerable now.
Oh, no.
Now this week, we'd like to know how you feel about pornography filters on the internet. Do you believe that it's the right of the nation state to uphold morality? Can such proposed filters actually be effective? And if so, would you opt into them? Let us know in the comments below.
And with that, I'm Shannon Morse.
I'm Darren Kitchen. We'll see you on the internet.